Good thing I checked. Now that the sound is here, it's the 18th of April. Yeah. 18th of April. Right. Welcome. Greetings and salutations, as I was saying. An eventful weekend for myself. Hopefully, everybody else had a pretty good one. Interesting thing happened here for me. Personally, went out over to the local swimming pool in the Grand Park, Ulsan Grand Park. If you are from Ulsan, then you know what I'm talking about. By the way, if you are new here, make sure to smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, and you know, stay tuned for all the goodies coming up. Make sure that you do those things so you don't miss the next podcast. You'll get a reminder. Anyway, as I was saying, so apparently the swimming pool now permits people to go in without masks, which is kind of strange, because last time you would think, you know, in a swimming pool you wouldn't be required to wear a mask anyway, because once you get into water the mask is rendered kind of useless, right? But last time I was there, which was in the, I guess, in the peak of or prior to the massive explosion of the pandemic insanity, we were required to wear masks and everybody was wearing masks. But yesterday I went over with my son, and to my surprise, nobody was wearing a mask and there was no requirement for masks. Literally, out of the 60 people that were there at the pool, I think only one person, no, I don't think, I know only one person, a woman, was wearing a mask. The logic of that escapes me, really, because, you know, outside everybody's wearing masks and inside in the swimming pool you don't need to wear a mask. And why that is, I have no idea, but it is what it is. So there you go, there you have it. Alrighty, so the Korea podcast, on the Korea podcast I talk about anything and everything related to living and working in South Korea, and all that good stuff. And today we are going to start off our start off the day, or the evening rather, with the usual talk of failed parking in South Korea, because, you know, because it's nice to talk about that. If you're not part of the group, the Facebook group, Failed Parking in South Korea, swing on by, have a look. It's a cool group of people. There's about 3,000, nearly 3,000 subscribers or followers right now. Everybody is in on the fun. We like to poke at people. There is also some help, I guess, on what to do when you encounter failed parking in South Korea like this. So it's always a good fun to join and get in touch with people who are also hateful of failed parking in South Korea, man. So anyway, this guy, it's a Volvo stuck in a restaurant, and apparently this would be funny if you understood the name of the name of the restaurant. Right, so this is one. This Beamer, obviously, that's pretty clear, is like way past this line. I don't know how he managed to park. This guy's parked nicely in his spot right there, and the Beamer, of course, decided to go further or whatever. Maybe there was a tiny little car parked behind him, and so he didn't want to scratch him up, so that's why. Words fail, man. How do you park right across completely, you know, this is so in the group there, somebody made a point of making a little meme on teaching the simple oh man, I forget what it was. Let's see if I can find it. Lessons on or on awareness. What was it? I'm just scrolling through the Facebook group, and I can't find the post that was added. Sensitivities, special sensitivities, glasses, or somebody was giving out shots of special sensitivity to help locals here with that. And I'll come back to that point in a little bit and explain why that appeared, or maybe that would be in my post. And special sensitive, I think that's where it was actually. Let's have a check. Where is it? No, okay, I don't know where it is. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so this dude, obviously, a massive fail in my book, parking right across on the crosswalk like that. Massive fail. No idea what's happening here. I think this is kind of excusable here. Hey, Lisa's in the comment. Oh, blimey. Okay, here we go. Thanks, Lisa. See, this is why I appreciate people being here. Thanks, Lisa. Lisa said my video pics weren't showing up. Okay, well, let's go back then. Right here. And where are we here? This is the front. Start. Back to the beginning. Usually you're split screen. You're only able to... Yes, okay, so now we got it. So there's the Volvo is like stuck in a restaurant. No idea what happened to this guy. He must have gone full force. I mean, the window wasn't that strong, but... maybe a drunk customer trying to park in front of the restaurant kind of hit the accelerator instead of the brake. There you go. And that's what you get. So here's the Beamer that's parked, you know, had a mini car standing behind him and he didn't want to scratch it up. This guy, this we were in this guy is just parked across, right across the crosswalk, because why the heck not? Here, this looks like an apartment setup. So again, I think I said that before. I hope this also looks, this could be a handicap parking spot. So I hope that this driver has a legal permit to park here. And the car parked in front of these cars. So in Korea, if you're not familiar with how Korea works, Korea is a country of, you know, huge amounts of people, massive amounts of cars, and never enough parking space. You know, that's why the new apartments started digging deep inside. You've got parking lots that span in apartment blocks that span 5 or 6 floors below to accommodate the massive numbers of cars, because apparently in the family there are 4 people, you know, of legal driving age, then everybody must have a car or something. So cars will park in front of other cars overnight and basically leave the car in neutral, so that people who want to get out can simply push the car out of the way and get themselves out without any hang-ups, no problemos. So yeah, it's all good. This picture basically shows this guy who's parked across the street, and the comment below on the picture was that this car was actually parked like that. No idea. Maybe this was a very quiet street and this guy decided that it would be good to park perpendicularly in this fashion. Whatever the case. This Bentley, man, beautiful car, but asshole parking, obviously. And the comments were kind of nasty, man. People were talking about, you know, scratching it and keying the heck out of it. But I mean, this is not a very uncommon sight, seeing a car parked like that across the sidewalk. Not very uncommon. But I guess when you see a expensive car like that, then immediately your entitlement senses begin to tingle, and you feel the need to teach him a lesson. But yeah, nice car though, I gotta say. I like the Bentleys. There's also a nice car. I have no idea what happened here. This guy parked, like, this is an entrance to somewhere, obviously, like an underground parking or something, and in the middle of the night, why not block that? This could be, I don't know, there's an overpass here, so maybe a quiet area. People will park like this in maybe delivery zones and stuff like that, I guess. I assume this was a weekend. I don't think people park that maliciously on weekdays. You will see a lot more of this kind of stuff on weekends. Very nice car. No idea where it is, but it is, I guess, flashers are on, so it's all good, right? You can see the flashers, nobody in the car. Parked somewhere. This looks like a pedestrian / slow moving street area somewhere, like Hongdae or some other place where you would see cars driving through along streets that they should not really be on, but they're not really prohibited from coming. This was also posted. I have no idea why, to be honest. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Where is the failure? He's parked next to the curb. There is no lines. What is this? I have no idea. Maybe he's blocking some things here. Nah. Let it slide. Also, now, what is that? A Ferrari? That's a Ferrari. Man, people have dough here. This is the same corner. I've posted the picture of this corner time and time again, and this is what sparked, from my perspective, or what sparked, I think, some of the memes that came up on the Facebook group, on the failed parking Korea group, about sensitivity, cups of sensitivity. So this car was parked, and the driver was in, and his wife was sitting next to him, and I was walking my dog, and obviously, you know, he's parked. This is a double red line, which apparently is a big no-no. He's blocking a fire hydrant, and right there was a straight stretch of road that would allow this guy to basically pull in and park. While I was walking along the street from this direction, I saw a car just past me, and it hit the brakes hard because a motorcyclist was coming out and nearly plowed right into the car. And all that because of this douchebag sitting here and blocking the view for all traffic, oncoming traffic, which really irks me, man, because this guy's just oblivious to anything that's happening around him. So I came out politely, and I told him in my very horrible English that because of this car standing here, there was an accident that nearly occurred just like a second ago, and he was just looking at me with a smug face. And I told him, this is not a parking space. Right there in front of you is a parking space. Pull over. And he just looked at me and went, calqueo. And he didn't freaking budge, you know. And he just pointed to my dog, who was taking a leak across the street, and another car was politely waiting for me to pull up my dog so he wouldn't run it over. But this dude just stood there. Like, how do you not, you know, you nearly caused an accident by just obliviously standing in one spot and not doing jackass shit. Really upsetting when I see stuff like that, man. My adrenaline shot right up, and I had to leave. Otherwise, I would have torn his freaking smug glasses off his face, shades off his glaze, and stomped on them. Anyway, yeah, stupidity like that gets to people, yeah. Here, I don't know, delivery truck, and this looks like a store. So both of them are blocking the pedestrian crossing, and this guy, why the heck not? You know, same car, same, yeah. So there you go. That's it. That's what's happening in the parking area here in South Korea. Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. Before I jump into the promised land of talking about the restrictions being lifted in South Korea and whatnot, I found some interesting things. I touched a website link to this website here, Coronavirus COVID-19 Republic of Korea. I think this is a website on which you'll be able to find, if you're still into that kind of stuff, and if you're still desperately are searching for you know, for answers and data, then this could be it. There's a lot of stuff you might find this interesting. Check it out. The link is below. And there you have it. Also, I found this interesting tidbit. South Korea bond yields on April 18, 2022. So I'm not into bonds. I don't invest in bonds personally, but they just kind of made me giggle in a way, because the percentages are, what is it? Over 2 years, this, I don't know, TB, whatever the bond that is, it went from, I don't know. Are these the price increases? Yeah, so this guy went at minus 1.1% over 1 year. This one increased 2.9%. You got 4.6% over 3 years. 10-year bond yields 5.4% plus 4.1% over a 2-year period, I guess 3 years. 4.9 and 91-day 0. Quite sad. Quite sad. Let's have a look at crypto. I know this is not a crypto channel, but I figured, you know, if you're not in crypto, you should be. This is a monthly performance chart for the year 2017. The orange is the standard deviation of monthly returns, and then the blue one is the mean monthly returns. You know, you've got Omisa Go, 353% return, Quantum, 432, what is it, deviation, mean monthly return. Okay, let's look at the means. 161%, 194. Ethereum Cash 41%, Lisk 76%, Monero 44. What's XEM? I don't even know. Tron 536, Dash, IOTA 71. Like nothing's below 10%. Forget it. Nothing's below 20. Bitcoin, the lowest return on Bitcoin, 25%. So my question is, who in the right mind would be investing in bonds and government bonds? Why? Anyway, all right. I found this article here. What is it? This is on the Guardian. Support the Guardian, they say. Okay, let's do it. Absolute tragedy. Apparently, 4 South Korean backpackers died in Queensland in a car crash, which is very sad. 4 South Korean women have died in a horrific car crash in southern Queensland just weeks after they arrived in Australia on a backpacking trip. Police believe their vehicle failed to give way at a Southern Downs intersection and was struck by a semi-trailer about 5:30 on Wednesday. Now I wonder, I don't know who was the driver of this vehicle. Woman aged 20s died on the scene. The truck driver was taken to Stamford Hospital with minor injuries. It is absolute tragedy. I assume that the girls were driving the car. You know, I've never been to Australia personally, but from what I understand, a lot of people you can get a working visa, right? Like a 1-year working visa in Australia. I know a lot of my Canadian friends have done that. And a lot of people who do that working visa thingy-majiggy, they basically purchase a car there, they use it for travels, and then when they're ready to leave, they sell it. And so, you know, you get yourself a vehicle. And I assume that one of these girls was driving, and as sad as it is, you know, it almost makes me want to say, you know, this hints at the failure of the Korean drivers testing, or, you know, driving habits in South Korea. So yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so so I guess we're starting off. So the way I lined it up, we're going to talk a little bit about North Korea, because we've got a new president coming in, and there's a new office, and you know, his this office is going to be doing things very different. While the Moon Jae-in office president was very much moving very much towards the unification of the two countries, South Korea and North Korea, the party right now is kind of opposing, going in the opposite direction. And so time to change conciliatory approach to North Korea, FM nominee says. Stuff flying around. Foreign Minister nominee Park Jun suggested Monday that the new South Korean government will turn away from the Moon Jae-in administration's Inter-Korean Peace Initiative amid escalating threats from North Korea. I think it's time again of the year for us here locally to start seeing some more threats and you know, more hostilities or more appearances of fear, because there's an annual tradition during which everybody runs scared, and everybody starts talking about North Korea. So COVID's finishing, and so it seems like it's a good time to start vamping up the threat of the North once again. And so yeah, so the present administration is going to be turning the other way, moving away from reconciliation, at the same time as Kim Jong-un observes, this is on Reuters, observes missile tests to boost nuclear capabilities. So we've got our presidential offices saying that they will no longer be looking at reconciliation, while at the same time Kim Jong-un is playing with massive, with giant toys of possible mass destruction and all that jazz. Yeah. But look how happy he is, man. He's so happy. Such a happy man. Good happy leader. South Korea, US kick off military drills as North Korea gears up for massive military parade. So expect to see a lot more of this stuff happening now. We'll probably start seeing a lot more of it in the news, and you know, because like I said, the fear of COVID is waning. You know, there isn't enough to keep people scared. The Korean government has basically lifted all restrictions already, which I'll get into a little bit. And so, you know, we need another demon in our corner. Otherwise, people might, you know, start feeling too safe and too comfortable. South Korea and the USA on Monday kicked off their annual combined military exercise, while North Korea has begun its preparation for a massive military parade likely to be held during the training period in earnest, South Korean military officials said. I remember, I think this was my second, maybe first or second year in Korea. Must have been second year in Korea. I remember distinctly, I was coming in Ulsan. I was coming from Samsandong, downtown area, going towards Okdong. Back then the city looked very different. This was, I think, 2007 or 2006. 2006, 2007, somewhere in between those years. And I was standing on a red light, and all of a sudden, it just got quiet. There were sirens, and all of a sudden, everything got quiet. It was just eerily quiet. I mean, you know, not like, oh, everybody stopped on a red light. Cars turned off their engines, must have, because I remember it being quiet, and there was a hum. There was a humming sound in the distance coming up. So we had, like, there was, you know, it was a Korean streets are pretty wide, usually 4 or 5 lanes in the middle of a city, right? And I remember standing in the middle lane, or one of the middle lanes. It wasn't the outside or the inside lane, and it was eerily quiet. On the opposite side, on the oncoming traffic, you know, there was a line. There were lineups. The 4 or 5 lanes were full. On my side, all the lanes were full, and the only empty lanes were in front of me, which were going in the direction in which I was supposed to be going. And next to me were the other set of empty lanes, and I could hear a hum. There was a hum of motorized vehicles. And these, I think, 4 or 5 military trucks just went zooming right. They were coming straight at me, and then basically once they reached the intersection, I think I was like the second or third vehicle standing in the lineup of cars. When they reached the intersections, they kind of veered to the right would have been, and continued along the road on the other side of the road, man. This was a freaky moment for me, because I was like, you know, I was an FOB 2 years abroad, or 3 years abroad here out of Canada, out of peaceful, quiet, you know, armpit of Winnipeg, Canada. And I'm stuck in this military conflict. I'm like, holy shit, this should be fun. Was it 2 p.m.? Yeah, it was noonish. I don't remember exactly what time it was, but it was midday. Yeah, it was sunny, and Lisa asks, yeah, was it 2 p.m.? Let me just transition here over to the chat here for a second. Lisa says, I recall those drills being quite regular. I haven't heard it for quite a while now, though. Yeah, that's true. I haven't heard those drills either. And also, even if I had heard them, I wouldn't experience them the same way, because, like I said, I keep saying to people, you know, I'm very antisocial in my life. It's just family and home. Family and home. Sorry. Same thing. Family and work. So I literally, my work is just across the street. It takes me about 5-10 minutes maybe to walk to my school. And then once I'm finished, I'm back home. On the weekends I get out, but like weekdays, I'm just here. I think I heard they were scheduled for 2 p.m. Yeah, possibly. I know it was midday sometime, so quite possibly that time. But yeah, so North Korea, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know, for me personally, it feels like when I siphon through information and through news, I keep, you know, getting a lot of North Korea tidbits, and apparently it feels like North Korea is trying to is trying to be a part of us. No, of our daily lives. Like the news are trying to make North Korea part of the daily lives. Kind of normalization, you know? I guess a while back, even in 2006, you didn't hear much about North Korea, maybe on the news. I never really looked because I didn't care. But now, the more we hear about stuff, the more normal it becomes. And I think the goal maybe of like having enough information about North Korea and news about North Korea present in people's life on a daily basis to the point at which it becomes just, you know, nothing out of the extraordinary or out of the ordinary. And so, you know, if it came to be that the Koreas slowly will become as one, it will not be so ominous. Maybe. Anyway, this is kind of ominous. Can you imagine North Korean TV finds its funny bone with comedy show? Man, I wish I could hear this. This would be a blast. With translations, I think. With translations would be extremely helpful to see what these guys talk about, man. They look like they're wearing military garbs, topped up with like pretend, suit and tie costumes? So bizarre. Anyway, television in North Korea isn't known for its laughs, but it's changed now that a comedy program has returned to the air after a break of several years. The satirical offering, snappily titled "The Stage of Optimism" that Songgung presented, was first seen on Korean Central Television at the end of August, and 2 episodes have been aired at regular intervals since J.H. An writing for... Virtually all programs seen by North Korean viewers are either a celebration of the rule of the Kim family or attack on South Korea and the United States, and this is little different. With a sparse set of performers, largely clad in military uniforms with cloth tabards over the top, the studio audience laps up lampoons of President Obama and South Korean President Park Geun-hye, referred to in the program as Granny. That's lovely, man. It's just another propaganda tool of propaganda. Look at these customers, happy customers, except for this woman. I'm not sure, is she crying or is she going like, oh my god, what am I watching? Maybe she's the one woke, the only woke person in South Korea, in North Korea. Look at her. Look at that expression. I have no idea what's going on. She looks like she's going, what am I watching? What's happening? What am I doing with my life? That's the kind of expression she's got. Reset. Ooh, legs. So, Korea takes step closer to normality, moving away from north back to south. Here we are. Government lifts social distancing rules after nearly 2 years, signaling beginning of living with coronavirus. Korea Herald and the Korea Times have very similar pictures. Is it in the same area? It just feels, it is. It's just a little bit further down. Look at that. This photo, can you see that? There's the shop. Here's the K-shop. It's the same picture, just from a distance. Anyway, after more than 2 years since the COVID-19 pandemic hit all parts of the world, Korea is set to step into a new era, lifting major social distancing rules except for the mask mandate. The mask mandate. That's the only mandate I was looking forward to, man. Hey, Ben is here. Ben, Neil. You know, I think last time I kept calling you Ben because I thought you were Ben. I guess if the studio audience don't laugh, they get sent to a comedy re-education camp. Precisely, that's exactly what I was thinking. Maybe this was the and the woman in the previous picture here. Where is she? Oh yeah, maybe that's what she's analyzed. She's like, how yeah, how badly am I messing up my fake laugh right now? What is this gonna cost me? That's it. That's one. Comedy re-education camp. I like that, man. I'm gonna recycle that if I do remember. That's witty. Though the Omicron wave is yet to be fully resolved here, the government has decided to lift pandemic-related rules, concluding that the virus peak has passed. Finally, on Friday, the disease control authorities presented a new virus response roadmap, lifting the pre-existing social distancing rules, such as the limit on private gatherings and curfew on business establishments, which is good. A lot of businesses are very happy about that, yeah? But one problem that people are talking about, I don't know, this is just another fear-mongering thingy. Long COVID worries persist among Korea's transmission to most Omicron era. Here's the thing. So before I get into the reading, I had a conversation with my mom, basically, on the phone. My mom is vaccinated, and I was talking to her, and she says she's got a very sore throat. It's been 2 days. I asked her if she was unable to swallow for the first day, and she said yes, and you know, she's feeling lethargic and stuff like that. I said, you've got Omicron, my mama. And she laughed. She said, you know, back in the day, people used to have colds, they had flus, they had sore throats, they had throat infections. Now there's a new terminology that's used, and it's called COVID. So whatever you have now, it's just COVID. Basically, I'm not sure if she was taking a piss out of how she was making, you know, laughing, making fun of me for being an expert. Now she actually did call me an expert. But the point being, we've been through the European flu and angina, and these things take forever, man. The European flu, which is a little bit different from the North American flu, because I guess it's a different strain of virus, it hits you differently, and it's very phlegmy. You get high fever, and you're basically down for the count for about 2 weeks. And even after that, if you don't cure yourself, if you don't take precautions and you continue to take care of yourself for, like, you know, a few weeks afterwards, man, there can be complications for as long as Ben is here. Hey, welcome, Ben. For as long as I remember, when I was a kid and I was sick with the flu or a cold or whatever, or gripa, I don't even know, angina, what the heck, what's gripa in English? I have no idea. Let's see, can I find English to Polish? Flu. Okay, it's the flu. So, whenever I came down with the flu, which happened occasionally as a kid, you know, there was always the precaution that my mom shared with me, and that was that you need to take care of yourself for a while after you recover from your flu, because if you don't, particularly during the flu, overcoming the flu, during the process, you need to take care of yourself. Stay in bed for literally 7 days. Like, this was it. You were in bed. You did not move, man. When you're sick, you're in bed. You're covered with your blankets up to your nose, and all you do is sleep and eat, if you can, and you don't move. You don't walk around. But these days, people just completely disregard it. And so what happens afterwards, if you're not entirely cured, there may be complications. The sickness will drag on for longer than it needs to be, and if it's not cured entirely, then yes, your system will take a beating, and the immune system will become weaker because it continues to try to fight the flu or the virus unsuccessfully, because you're not really helping the system, right? So it seems like it's very similar with Omicron, with COVID right now. People are complaining that they're like long-lasting effects. Where is that bloody article right here? Long COVID worries persist amid Korea's transition to post-Omicron era. It's like people expect to, 7 days. I was in quarantine for 7 days, which means that the virus is finished, and so I am top-notch, and I should be running around and freaking running marathons. Which is not necessarily the case, because that's not how viruses bloody work. That's not how the flu works. For Kim Sohyun, a 29-year-old office worker in Suwon, Gyeonggi province, COVID-19 symptoms have not gone away, even though her required 7-day self-isolation period ended in late March. See what I mean? Like, so for me, when I was a kid, the flu lasted 2 weeks at least. 1 week you would spend in bed, and then the next week or so you were bundled up still. If you were able to walk around, you would definitely continue to take medicine. Continue to take medicine, and you were not considered cured because it lasts much longer. Much longer. Thanks, Lisa. Hallelujah. It lasts much longer than a week. So these people seem to be under the impression that, you know, once the 7-day quarantine is over, they're like, oh, okay, I'm good now because it's 7 days. It's almost like everybody forgot that not so long ago it was 2 weeks. You're required to stay isolated for 2 weeks, which was then reduced to 7 days. I think after Omicron, showed its rear end. And everybody all of a sudden started to feel a lot more safe. So, but yeah, these articles, man, these like fear-mongering articles, we will see those too. Like, long COVID worries persist. They're gonna start calling it now long COVID. Be careful of the long COVID, you know. Media, man, I swear to. Anyway, okay. Koreans eager to return to maskless normal life. Some, however, want to keep masks wearing. So I don't know. I was just telling at the beginning of the of the episode of the podcast. The episode. Welcome to the 154th episode. Make sure to smash up the likes if you haven't done so yet. That I visited the local swimming pool, and we were not required to wear masks, which kind of threw me off because I'd figured in an enclosed space you would be expected to wear masks. But I guess, you know, if you're in water and the masks are wet, it kind of renders them useless anyway. So there you go. Social distancing rules, but mask wearing set to end this week. I don't know. This was from yesterday. South Koreans are eager to return to complete pre-COVID-19 normalcy without masks, but some say masking is too beneficial to let go to even after the pandemic is over. I agree with that. During winter, I did find, like, normally during a regular winter, walking around without a mask, you know, you do sniff out, get sniffs of very cold air occasionally, and so I do remember having colds or runny nose or stuff like that. But this past winter, man, I was as fit as a fiddle until I visited the bloody hospital, which basically gave me COVID, literally. That's my belief. And then I was at home for the next week. Anyway, so yeah, I think for those people, and aside from that, Korea and I think Japan as well, and maybe some other Asian countries, not so much in Southeast Asia, not really, but Japan and Korea are very well known for people wearing masks. And as Lisa herself pointed out earlier as well, we've got yellow dust to look forward to, and that's beginning already. I've just posted a short video a couple of days ago of yellow dust settling all over the place around me already. So yeah, welcoming COVID-19 normalcy act without masks, and at the same time welcoming the yellow dust season. So yeah, starting Monday, all COVID-19 infections, that's today, prevention requirements bearing the mask mandate will be lifted, including a curfew on operating hours of restaurants, cafes, and other small businesses, as well as the cap on the size of private gatherings. Lisa says, seriously, what's with the 3 to 5 days of meds, 7 days quarantine? As a kid, it was always 10 days at least. Yeah, precisely. That's my point exactly. Not to mention the whole, you know, give you medicine for 3 days and then drag you 3 days later, drag you out of bed to make sure that you come back to the office so I can give you 3 more days of medicine. And like they do that with antibiotics too. It's like, if you're so sick that you need to take antibiotics, you should be in bed on your ass and not leaving the house, not running to the doctor every 3 days, leaving the house and getting out into the cold so your body can, you know, be messed around with a difference in temperatures from hot to cold. Like, makes no freaking sense. But I mean, that's Korea. Not a lot of things do make sense here, right? We all know that. So, but yeah, I love how a lot of the expats here that have been living in Korea for so long were always baffled by the fact that things just don't make sense. Like, what? How is that even possible? That this guy is sitting here watching an accident happen because of him parking his keister in the middle of a corner, and him going, what? I did what? Alright, where was I? Right. Proud of the This will make mask wearing currently required indoors and partially outdoors the last remaining restriction on social life after nearly 2 years of social. Wait, back the truck up here. Partially outdoors? What do you mean partially outdoors? A couple of students today told me that Korea lifted the mandates for wearing masks outside. I searched, I didn't see anything, so I don't know. They said it was on the news, but I have no idea where they got this from. So I think this was just a friend of a friend of a friend of a kid of a friend who told them something, and yeah. So that ain't happening, but hopefully soon, maybe soon. Retailers stop overnight delivery as Korea moves toward endemic stage. Endemic stage, that's witty. So I guess now we had, there was a lot of overnight deliveries the companies were doing. Literally, we could order food before 10 p.m. and have it delivered here in front of the door by like 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning. Blink. So I guess they'll be stopping that unless Kupang will continue doing that service. Neil says, don't say mandate. The word reeks of the patriarchy. The correct term is mask person date. Okay, I'm going to report you. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I heard they're considering removing the masks at the end of the month. End of May, yeah? Possibly. I think that's what I heard as well. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they'll do about the person date. However, now overnight delivery requires huge investments on logistics centers and labor expenses. Companies have to pay night shift workers double the salary of daytime employees. What? Korea pays overnight shift work payments? Really? Are you sure? Dear, just continue, fella. Ben, this is Neil. Neil is very well known for his witty remarks, and he offered to go full on last time, and I accepted the challenge, and so that's what I'm getting, man. So it's all good. No hostilities. It's all good. Court suspends voiding of ex-Justice Minister's daughter's medical school admission. This is post-COVID. I don't know if you heard about this. This was a few months ago, I think. There was a case of a couple of profs from one from a prestigious university, could have been one of the Sky universities. The father, I think, and the mother was from a minor university or something like that. And they were trying to get their daughter to go into the medical field, and so they forged some documents, because that's standard. They forged some documents to submit as part of their daughter's application to medical school, to, I believe, Seoul National School of Medicine, and she passed. And this was, let me just see. So Chomin entered Korea University in 2010 and graduated in 2014. She was then admitted to PNU, Busan National University's medical school in 2015, and passed the state medical licensing exam in January of last year. So that's all good, but the court suspended Busan National University's decision to nullify its 2015 acceptance of former Justice Minister's Cho Cook's daughters into its medical school for having used forged documents on her application. So the university said, you know what, we're going to suspend your license or your graduation certificate because your dad forged documents. The school in the southern port city of Busan made the decision earlier this month to cancel Chomin's admission to its graduate school of medicine after the Supreme Court convicted her mother in January of forging some of the documents used in the daughter's application. I don't know if this is mentioned in the article here, but both of these parents were profs. Justice Minister. Fucking Justice Minister. And I think the mother was a prof at some university. Maybe it wasn't a very prestigious university. Maybe it was a minor university, which probably made the forging a lot easier to do. But Chomin immediately filed lawsuits seeking to suspend and ultimately cancel the decision, claiming that the school's internal probe found the forged documents had no influence on her admission, that the nullifying the admission entirely was too harsh a penalty. Now, I remember distinctly trying to cheat my way through a geography test in elementary school, in high school, in whatever year that was. And I did have a cheat sheet hidden in my fist, and I was sitting. It must have been my left fist because I'm right-handed, right? So I was sitting with my cheat sheet in my hand, making my way through the geography test, and when a teacher came up and asked me to open my hand, and I had to do it, and of course I was immediately taken out of the room, out of the exam room, and what followed was me having to fail the course and having to redo it, looking like a doofus, being put back in the course. The fact that I never used the cheat sheet was never even put into consideration. So I don't even know if the intent of wanting to cheat is a thing that can be omitted here or not. It's like saying, well, yeah, I mean, we made these forged papers, but since they were not used, it's like, let's just pretend it didn't happen. I mean, what would have happened if they had been used? They were used. They were submitted for the application. Therefore, they were used. It's so idiotic. But again, like, how makes no sense. So it is recognized there in an urgent need to prevent the irrevocable damage that would be caused by the decision to cancel the admission. The court said, suspending the school's decision until the 30th day after the court makes a decision in the main lawsuit. So the court upheld this decision, man. They said, yeah, you know, university, listen, university, it's not okay what you're doing. We're gonna prevent you from suspending this or taking the degree from the student away. Talk about freaking entitlement and power of prestige in South Korea, eh? We're talking about like the medical establishment here. To get into medical school in Korea is ridiculously difficult. Like a tiny, like less than 1% of the entire population becomes a doctor here, right? It's hugely difficult. And then you've got this person who obviously is riding on the back of their, you know, of their dad and her mom, who are trying to swindle their daughter's way into the industry. Not to mention the fact that the girl is taking it like, look at me, what I've accomplished. Not really. But yeah, they're totally taking advantage of the system, and that's okay. I mean, I think the courts should step the hell back and let the university do its thing and put that girl out of there, man. Who cares? What are the repercussions? The repercussions are the parents fucked up. Those are the repercussions. Moving on. Elementary school teacher given 7 years prison term for luring teenagers into filming sexually abusive material. An elementary school teacher has been sentenced to 7 years in prison after being found guilty of inducing more than 100 teenage girls to film sexually exploitative material and of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old, a court reported Monday. The assault happened in 2012, so she was 13 then, now she's 15. Whatever the case is, this dude, the court also ordered the man to, so he got 7 years in prison. Yes. He also ordered the man to complete 80 hours of sexual offender treatment, a 5-year identity disclosure, and banned him from working with children for 7 years. I don't know. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about that, man, because I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. Like literally, when I was reading it, I was speechless. Let's see. Let the public decide. Come on, roll it in. Ben says, for me, I am glad some of the overreaching of the early parts of COVID are over. I remember being shouted at by an old bloke in a restaurant for talking to a friend across the table, but eating was fine. Yeah. Yes. I think the messages are coming in a little late, so yeah, let me hear. Actually, you know what? Drop a comment below. Can you drop comments? I don't even know. Can you drop comments here in the live session? Oh, can you drop comments? I don't even know. Can you drop? Wait a second. In the live? Shush. I think you can leave comments. I'm not sure. All right, but so yeah, the point is, yeah, shocking. So I mean, this kind of thing, it happens everywhere, right? It happens everywhere. It's not like Korea is the only place where this kind of shit happens, but You know, as a father of a soon-to-be teenage girl, this is fucking really, I don't know, man. I think if this happened to my daughter, I'd be the guy in the prison cell next to this freak show, or maybe not. I'd be in prison instead of him, because I would freaking murder him. Pachinko, still on. I don't know if you didn't catch my last episode, last podcast. I was talking about Pachinko and how Korea blamed, becried the theft of its kimchi, while at the same time stealing Pachinko from Japan. This is an interesting thing. Hyundai Motors becomes first car maker to issue community-based NFTs. This is crazy, man. Hyundai getting into NFTs. I guess they're trying to like conquer the younger market of, you know, whatever. Stop buying Tesla with your Bitcoin, buy the new whatever the heck, Hyundai Motors. I don't even know what they make, but I know the Infinities, man. Those are nice cars. I just finished reading Pachinko last night. It was fantastic. Nice. What was it about? Who's the Pachinko, Lisa? Please do tell. Oh, sorry. So I didn't split the screen. Here we go. NFTs by Hyundai Motors. NFTs. Crazy. Hyundai released a short film introducing the Meta Mobility universe, the car maker NFT universe concept that I'm not even going to read because it's not important. This is more like just out of curiosity, what's happening in South Korea and how far the cryptocurrency market and the whole blockchain thing is happening, man. How far it's penetrating the present market. Like if you, again, I said it before, I'll say it again, if you're not in cryptocurrencies yet, you need to get your feet wet because this is taking over the world by storm. So if you have the time, if I have the time, let's get together on the crypto market podcast, or crypto market channel rather. Which I haven't updated in a while, but I'm aiming at making some videos for some educational videos for the channel as soon as I get the time to do it. Yeah. Students experience depression, anxiety amid pandemic. Well, glad that's over. So happens mostly girls here. Huge long story. I'll just recommend googling a summary. I'll do that, Lise. I will. Thanks. But yeah, apparently it's a good read. Yeah, Pachinko is. Last bit here. If you're ever in trouble with the law in South Korea, according to this article, translation hiccups for no, that's not it. The Act on Citizen Participation in Criminal Trials, introduced in 2008, states that anyone, regardless of nationality, has a right to receive a jury trial. It states that the court must go through a process of confirming if the defendant wants to stand before a jury of citizens or not. A recent ruling shows that sufficient information on the system must be conveyed, and in the case of foreigners who do not speak Korean, the information must be delivered in a language that they understand. So if you ever get in trouble and you want to be, have a trial by jury, then basically anything that's conveyed, if you get to the point of being involved in a legal system, everything and all information and options that are provided to you must be provided to you in the language that you understand. Meaning, unless you're fluent in Korean and you understand legal lingo, you have every right to request the information in your language. It must be presented because apparently in December 2019, 2 people from Russia and 1 from Uzbekistan were indicted for battery and tried the following year at Incheon court. They were asked whether they wanted a jury trial, but the information about the system was conveyed only in Korean, despite the fact that none of the defendants spoke Korean. Upon the refusal, they went through a non-jury trial and were found guilty in May 2020. The defendants appealed the case and said they wanted a jury trial. The Seoul High Court in August 2020 ruling sent the case back to the lower court over the court's failure to provide a Russian translation of the information regarding jury trial. There you go. Lisa says here, yeah, okay, that's it. Right. All right. Well, that's it, guys. That is it for today's podcast de mundo. What else is there to say? I'm just looking for music. Gotta change the music, yeah. Oh, no. Right on. Okay. Gonna transition out of this mess. 40 minutes. Thank you all for stopping by. Make sure to smash up the likes, subscribe. Moral of the story is don't commit crimes in countries where you can't speak the language. Yes, of course. I mean, you just don't commit crimes anywhere, especially if you don't speak the language, right? That's always best. But just in case, if you get in trouble of not your own doing, keep that in mind. All right, guys. Thanks for swinging by, Ben, Neil, Lisa, and there were several other people here who never said anything. So, hope that was educational. I hope you all learned something tonight. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.